You know that feeling when you pick up a really profound text and you just feel kind of lost? Well, what if I told you that feeling is actually the whole point? Today, we're going to crack open one of the most important texts in Zen Buddhism, the Diamond Sutra. And look, don't think of it as some dusty old book. Think of it more like a transcript of this live, absolutely game-changing conversation between a master and his top student, all about the very nature of reality. So, yeah, let's dive right in.
And boom, right out of the gate, we get this brilliant, totally counterintuitive idea. Basically, the source material tells us that if you start reading this and feel confused, that's not a bug, it's a feature. That cloudy and foggy feeling, it's actually a sign that you're about to break past the comfortable limits of your everyday logic and touch something way, way deeper. And that right there is the key to unlocking the whole thing. You've got to see it for what it is. It's not a rule book. It's not a lecture. It's a dialogue, a dynamic back and forth Q&A. And once we understand who's talking and what they're talking about, we can follow the thread of this incredible masterclass. All right, so let's meet the two people at the heart of this incredible conversation. First up, of course, we have the master himself, the Buddha. Now, in the text, you'll see him called the World-Honored One. And that's not just a fancy nickname, it's one of his 10 great titles, and it really shows you the kind of deep respect his students had for him. And then you've got the student, the one asking all the big questions, Subhuti. And listen, this guy isn't just any student. We're talking about one of the Buddha's 10 top disciples. He's at the absolute head of the class, which is exactly why he's the one having this, let's call it an advanced lesson. Okay. Now take a look at this. It's pretty cool. This shows you the specialties of the Buddha's inner circle. You've got guys who are the best at debate, the best at ascetic practices, even supernatural powers. But check out Subhuti, right there at the bottom. His specialty, foremost in understanding emptiness. This makes him the absolute perfect person to ask the really deep, really tricky questions about reality that, let's be honest, we all have. He's basically our guy in this conversation. So, we've got our speakers, the master and the student. But what exactly are they talking about that's so advanced? Well, that brings us right to the heart of it. They're talking about something called emptiness wisdom. And this is where the title of the sutra, the Diamond Sutra, comes from. Think about it. A diamond is the hardest substance we know, right? It can cut through literally anything. Well, this emptiness wisdom is like that. It's an insight so powerful, so sharp, that it can cut through all of our confusion, all of our suffering, all our afflictions. Pretty cool metaphor, huh? And we've got to be super clear about this. This is not Buddhism 101. No way. This is more like a PhD seminar on the nature of reality. The text itself kind of hints that to really truly explain it, you'd probably have to be at a super high level of enlightenment yourself. So if it feels challenging, well, that's because it absolutely is. And that brings us right back to where we started, right? That cloudy and foggy feeling. So let's talk about why that difficulty is actually a key part of the whole lesson. Look, the source material is really open about this. The Diamond Sutra is famously hard to explain. It's hard to listen to. It just doesn't lend itself to a simple, neat little summary. But here's the twist. That's not a barrier. It's actually an invitation. The whole point is to kind of short-circuit our normal logical thinking. It's designed to make you let go of that need for everything to fit into a neat little box. Instead, it's pushing you to make a leap to a much more direct, intuitive kind of understanding. That fogginess, that's the runway for taking off. All right, so let's get into the actual conversation. How does this whole masterclass kick off? So Subhuti steps up, and the text makes a really important point here. He's not just asking for himself. He's asking this huge question on behalf of everyone in the room, and by extension, for all of us reading it thousands of years later. He's our stand-in. And here it is, the big question that gets the ball rolling. Subhuti basically asks, okay, so how do we do it? How can we get this supreme, unexcelled wisdom? What's the mindset? How do we even start on this path? And I absolutely love the Buddha's response here. He doesn't just jump into a complicated lecture. His first reaction is just pure encouragement. Excellent, excellent, he says. He's genuinely thrilled because he knows this is the question. This is the key that unlocks everything else. So the Buddha lays out the goal. He says the first step is to awaken a very specific mindset, and get ready for it, it's a bit of a mouthful of Sanskrit. It's the Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi mind. I know, but trust me, don't let the word scare you. It actually breaks down into something really beautiful and surprisingly clear. Okay, let's break this down piece by piece. First, you have Anuttara, which means unexcelled, as in there's nothing higher than this. Then there's Samyak, which means perfectly equal. This is about seeing the true nature of all things, with no distortion. And finally, Sambodhi means complete enlightenment, a total, full-on awakening. So put it all together, and the goal is to achieve an unexcelled, perfectly equal, complete enlightenment.
And to make this even clearer, the text draws a really important distinction. Think of it like two levels. On one level, you have a bodhisattva. This is a highly enlightened being who can save themselves, and they can help some other people get enlightened too. But their work isn't totally complete. Then you have a Buddha. A Buddha can also achieve self-enlightenment, but they have the wisdom and the power to help all beings do the same. Their ability to benefit themselves and others is totally, perfectly complete.
So here's the big takeaway. That mind Subhuti is asking how to get that whole Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi thing, that is the mind of a Buddha. It's a goal where you're not just trying to save yourself. The goal right from the very beginning is to gain a wisdom so profound and so complete that you can help everyone. It's universal. It's not just about you. And that, of course, tees up the next massive, mind-bending question, which is really the heart of the entire Diamond Sutra. Okay, if your goal is to save everyone, every single being in the whole universe, where do you even begin? I mean, that's an infinite task, right? What does that even look like? And how on earth do you do it without getting stuck on the idea that I am the one saving them? That is the puzzle that the rest of this incredible conversation is all about.